Welcome to RE/MAX of Boulder's video podcast. Today we have our regular market update with DB Wilson, the managing broker of RE/MAX of Boulder. Thanks for being here with us, DB.
Me once again.
And I'm Duane Duggan with RE/MAX of Boulder also. So DB, how is the market doing? I sense it feels like it's slowing down a little bit. Is that true, or what's your thought?
You know, I think it is slowing down, maybe getting more into historical norms. As you know, we always look at Boulder County as a whole. And we're going to look at what I call the 10 vital statistics. What's interesting is that the number of sales is off just under 11% from a year ago at 2,452 sales. And that is explained because we've had such a problem with inventory all year long. Currently, we're about 9% fewer homes for sale on the market in Boulder County, a total of 825 compared with a little over 900 a year ago. We continue to have a strong market though, in that 41% of those are under contract at this time. And another point that we look at is how many months of inventory does that for an absorption rate. And typically 5 to 7 months is what is known as a stable market. And we only have 3 months of inventory currently. So we're still well below historic norms.
Okay, and this is all single family, right?
Only single family.
In Boulder County.
In Boulder County.
Gotcha.
Now, as far as sales prices and appreciation, it's still extremely strong when you look at this year at the end of September. We're looking January through September, and we compare that with a year ago, and we're up over 15% median price, and we're now at $535,000 is the median price. When you look at average price, it's a little over $653,000, and that's also about 14% higher than it was a year ago. That's indicative of a really strong market. Right. Another thing that we look at is what's the sales price to list price ratio. In other words, when somebody lists their house, what are they getting? And currently, a seller is getting 99.6% of their asking price.
Okay. Historic
norm on that is going to be 95, 97%. So again, it shows that it's a strong seller's market.
So typically a balanced market's about 95%?
95 to 97,
right.
Exactly.
Okay.
Interestingly, we've only had 45 homes come on the market and not sell, expire not selling. That's off about 40% from where we were a year ago. Year ago was an all-time low, so we continue, when you put a house on the market, assuming it's priced right, it's likely going to sell.
Okay.
Now, all of that being said, I think that it's a really good time for a buyer to get out into the marketplace. Interest rates, 3.46%, well below historic norms. You and I have been in the business a long time, and that historic average would be more like 7.5%.
Right.
So half of that.
Will be interesting to see what happens with the election coming up. So.
Yeah, that could be a factor. The other thing that I would say about if you're thinking about getting into the buy mode, that I would really encourage someone to get out now and be taking a look. Interestingly, we have slightly more homes for sale than we did in the spring, the very fierce spring market. When there were so many buyers out there, we had multiple offers on all kinds of properties. Well, right now, there's fewer buyers in the marketplace, but there's actually more homes than there were when there were so many buyers out there.
So it could be a window for opportunity for buyers this fall.
Well, it could, and like you say, who knows what's going to happen with the election and how that'll impact interest rates. Certainly, the Fed has inferred that they want to do an interest rate hike in December. We'll see if that happens, but
okay.
I don't think interest rates are going to get any lower, and if you want less competition as a buyer, now's a great time to be in the marketplace.
So let's talk about the attached dwelling and condo market, specifically in Boulder County since the first of the year to the end of September.
Right. Likewise, the total number of sales were off really quite substantially from a year ago. It's 17% lower, with 924 sales year to date. And this too is reflective of the extremely low inventory. When we started the year, we actually had 65 properties on the market, was all. Okay, well, if you don't have anything to sell, obviously
sales are going to be down.
What's interesting though is that we are now seeing a lot more condos come on, or attached dwellings come onto the market. We're up to 213 on the market, which still is historically very low number, but at this time last year we had about 150 on the market. And so we are seeing more condos come onto the market, but even with more on the market, there's still 59% of them that are under contract. I think it's very encouraging that for a buyer that there's going to be more inventory and more selection for them, and so that is pretty exciting. That's actually a 38% jump from a year ago. A year ago at this time, we were just tailing down until, like I said, we got down to 65 units on the market. So it's going the right way. I think it's a much more favorable market. But even with that being said, there's only 2 months worth of inventory
right so
now.
Still leaning toward a seller's market.
Absolutely.
Right.
Now, because of the extreme lack of inventory, the high demand amongst buyers, appreciation rates have really gone through the roof. Median price is up 30% over a year ago to just under $350,000. And average prices are up about 18%, and they're at $395,000. That's like $70,000 or $80,000 more than a year ago if you look at the raw number. So it's pretty significant. That sales price to list price ratio is 101.6. So you can see that things have been selling, and we've had multiple offers, and it's again based on this lack of inventory. There's only been 10 expired attached dwellings all year, and
In all of the county.
in all of the
Wow.
And again, interest rates are low. We're starting to see more more units come onto the market. If you're at all interested in getting into the marketplace, I would really encourage you to get out there now.
All right, a couple things that are in the news right now. I think the headline today in the Daily Camera was that the Longmont market has really gone up. Any thoughts on that specifically? Or?
Absolutely. And I think, when we look at long-term trends, what we see happen is that the city of Boulder is the first community to really react, and you can kind of see how it goes and then what's going to follow. And so typically the city of Boulder starts getting hot, prices start rising there as it becomes less affordable for people. They go outside of the city, they go to look at Louisville, then Lafayette, and they get further and further away, and Longmont has always been the last to benefit by that, I think. I think it's very significant that it's over 400,000. I think that shows the lack of affordability in the county, but that's only 1 month. And I think, why we look at these vital statistics from year to date, like we put the last 9 months together, and that's just because any 1 month you can have an unusual occurrence, whether it be up or down. So that 400 plus mark is just for the month of September. Yeah, it's significant because that's certainly the trend line that it's increasing in Longmont. If you look at year to date in Longmont, that figure's 387,000, so it's very close to 400.
Right.
And that's probably up 13, 14, 15% from a year ago, something like that.
Okay.
So definitely a strong market.
The other thing in the news a while back really was that City of Boulder hit an average price of $1 million. That's been a while back, like was 2014, I think, was when it first hit.
Well, again, that was just looking at a single month.
Single month,
And
right.
my recollection is that was November 2014. The closings that month, there were a lot of high-end closings, a couple of really significant high closing, and that took that average over $1 million. Now, we immediately fell back in December underneath that, and in fact, all of 2014 was well under $1 million, and we actually didn't hit that $1 million figure again until I want to say it was late spring this year, so 2016, maybe April, May, something like that, where we did pass the $1 million again, and we're currently at the end of September we're at about $1,063,000 for an average.
And that's from January 1 to the end of September. We're still over $1 million average price within the city limits of Boulder.
Yes, we are.
Got it. Be interesting to see how that ends up at the end of the year. See if we're still
I'm pretty sure
over
we'll
that
be
$1 million
over
mark.
it. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure.
DB, thanks for being here. Thanks for sharing all your market insight with both our clients and our agents here. Appreciate
My
it.
pleasure.
Duane Duggan, Remax Boulder Video Podcast, signing off.